So this is me after doing an Antares talismanic painting that you can check on my Twitter. I might do a video about this. It's a very personal election, although some may apply to you if you're asking for ethically sourced wealth, for fair trade, for miners of crystals, fair digital trade, fairness with taxes, okay, so be successful with taxes. Yeah, Jupiter is in exile, so this is, Jupiter is in Aries in the 12th in here, Sagittarius is in the 8th, so succedent houses, I believe. So this is success that is divinely guided, ethically sourced wealth. It's not the usual typical election. And I tried at my talismanic painting, which is oil on canvas, and will take some time to dry. Some essential oil is just sage. It's not the herb that was mentioned in the context of Antares. That being said, sage does relate to Jupiter, and it does represent, sage, right? So I found that to be the closest oil that I could find there. A lot of things to do with following our dreams, that our dreams are divinely guided. This is my message for you. Your dreams, your passions, they're divinely guided. Okay, they're things you came here to do. So following your dreams of being, victorious, basically it's being victorious on your own fears and stuff, is divinely guided. So being successful, wherever Sagittarius is for you. For me, it's the 10th house, so it's career, but it can be for you in any, maybe it's the 7th. Maybe you need to prevail in your partnerships, or maybe you have joints, that are significant. Maybe it's the 3rd. Maybe you're writing vlogs. Maybe it's the 5th. It's just your hobbies, but it's important to pursue them and follow your dreams, even if you're not making money at this. You dream to be a pilot, or you dream to learn how to fly, not be a pilot, but learn how to fly a plane. Follow these dreams. And this election is particularly pinpointed Mercury, that has to do both with children, so against child labor, children rights, trade, to do like children in the trade, especially if children are mining crystals, because the moon is also separating from a square to Saturn in Pisces. So displaced children, refugees, and so that's so also a bit humanitarian. And and I still got the video, okay? The incense is myrrh, and myrrh Mercury also has to do with healing words, so words that are healing. And I prepared something already for heads up for trying to do a speaker election for the first time in my life. So I'm going to try that thanks to Helios. So I'm really grateful to Kaitlyn from Sphere and Sundry that's providing the how to make things. And the things that correlate with Antares, the symbols and things, and that's very inspiring to get your experience at doing something. It doesn't have to be a product that you sell right away. Just doing magic, just tending to it, even if it's not perfect, is just a step into. Now the moon is decreasing, so it's good to use Antares to protect your success, protect divine success, protect divine wisdom. What was noch? Following your dreams because they are divinely guided, and sourcing your wealth. If you're in a business or having a business or investing, then have your wealth ethically sourced. Your retirement. Okay, the moon is also separating from a square to Saturn, so your retirement of old age. Tending to these things, asking for the steps that are relevant to you, that are divinely guided. If it's done with the heart, or even if you're not in the heart, then ask to be in the heart. Maybe pinpoint an election that has to do with the sun or the sun hour today or tomorrow, depending for you. Now the moon is in 8 degrees Sagittarius, so applying to Antares. So we have about a day full of interesting things. Do mind that the moon is separating from square to Saturn. It's still in orb, so that may affect it. 10 to Saturn. Okay, 10 to Saturn. It's not a beginner in any way. So the fact that I am doing this and I'm a beginner should not be a prescription. So don't try this at home. Like, you know, if you're trying to do something safe and easy, this is not the election for you. And I'm just speaking, and I just recently told Kaitlyn, it was like, I was so afraid to be experimental with magic. I was learning aromatherapy, but I was so fearful of experimenting with magic and astrological magic that I was just channeling an essential oil blend about a year ago. And I thought I'm just channeling, and then Spirit says, look at the chart, and the moon was conjuncting Algol, blind conjunct Algol. So that was my first talisman, and that was like deepening into the waters, like, okay, now you've did the most dangerous thing that you could do in magic. Okay, now get right to it, start to practice. So I understood it's divinely called for me to try this, or to work at this. It doesn't matter if it's going to be a business or not, and you don't necessarily have to sell your talisman, like these are not for sale. But it does help you to kind of push forward in your life and break through. We're in the shade of an eclipse, so you need to take that into account. And then we are doing with the luminaries when we apply magic. So that's a cautionary tale. Okay, I did eclipse talismans. Like it was a very personal thing to probably get me to break through my own barriers about trying this. So to experiment and create and so on and so forth. So yeah, I really enjoyed this morning. I might try to see if I have more elections. I only had one canvas. But I'm totally sure on Twitter I do have the shots of stuff that I've done, and if you feel energetically drawn to them, I provided a chart for you, so you can screen save and use it for humanitarian work. If you're working with crystals, okay, use it to pray for the children that mine those crystals. If you're working with essential oils, use it to pray for the land to have way more herbs growing than we're harvesting. So we are giving more to the land than we're taking. If you use it for the Mercury, for the Mercury pinpointing, so ethical trade, okay, ethical technologies, ethically sourced technology. There's also a lot of child labor in technology. So this is good for humanitarian work, and it's also good for personal if you're sourcing your wealth, okay. This is a 12 house, 8 house election here. And those are kind of made to give you like the sage wisdom on how to go about these houses, how to go about this wealth, or the places in the wealth that are in exile, okay? The people that the structures, Saturn, the structures even try to hide from us and not let us through to see how much abuse there is. So tending to them and changing there and ethically sourcing our wealth and becoming even more wealthy globally. That's excellent for this election, dealing with your own taxes. So fair trade, if you're dealing with, because it's Jupiter, okay, Jupiter term, the moon is in Jupiter term. And so this is, I guess, why Sphere and Sudbury said it's way, like Kaitlyn said, it's way lighter to use Antares than to use Mars, because we have this Jupiter, right? Jupiter. And it's a great optimistic energy to be victorious, be passionate, have this, the aggression, this passion. I'm going for it, which is very in the light of the eclipse. And when the moon is decreasing, then what you're doing is basically removing the obstacles for the success, removing the obstacles for ethically sourced wealth. Okay, you ask, when the moon is decreasing, you ask to decrease the obstacles to protect, and so on. So this is why I chose this powerful red for Antares that is more like a Mars thingy. So yeah, I really like it that I still have video time. So yeah, upcoming elections, Aries is going to be in the 11th, so Sagittarius is going to be in the 7th. You can do something for like protecting your relationships, or like good relationships, but now the square with Saturn. So I don't know if for relationships it's so good. It can be longevity, but Saturn is hard aspect in the moon. So it's not an election to start a relationship, and maybe to free from domestic violence. If you are getting out of domestic violence, maybe that, especially if the spouse is more Jupiterian, or like releasing those people that are not in your favor, maybe that can work. Later we're going to have a Sagittarius in the 6th, so ethical work conditions, success at work, at your service, protecting your pets, and then a Sagittarius in the 5th. So for hobbies, if you even ethically source your hobbies, then the 4th. So home, real estate, home. Note the square from Saturn. So if you want to be victorious around property, if you have, for example, I live in Israel, it takes 7 years. Even if you buy land, you pay it in full, but you can't pay in cash because there are cash limitations. But even if you pay it in full, then it takes 7 years before you even put a tent on your land. Okay, and it costs 5 million shekels, which is the equivalent of $5 million for an American. So even though the shekel is 3.5, 3.7 shekels is $1, but relative to your expenses, 1,000 shekels is like $1,000 for an American, which makes it hard for Israelis to try to travel abroad, but it kind of makes it very lovely for Americans who come to Israel. So yeah, to travel or whatnot. And notice that, if we talk about travel, which is also Jupiter, if you think about traveling to a place where, let's say, you're a BDS person, like, yeah, don't buy from Israel, blah, 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 blah. Okay, but if you do magic, and let's say you have a problem with the settlements, okay, so you can come travel to Israel, travel to the settlements, not only get to know the people and so, but also do your magic on the land, okay, for righteousness, for alignment, for safe trade, for the passages, the employees that have to come here, and they have to go through a lot through the barriers just to get to work every day. So praying for them. Like if you do this on the land, then that has a very big signification. You bother to physically get there, especially if you have Aries. Now Jupiter is in Aries. It wants you to physically be there, to show up, okay, to travel to that place of discord and do your magic there. So it can be a great supportive for this type of traveling, to be safe in those travels, to make sure that what you're doing is divinely guided, so you're not just interfering in a place where you shouldn't be interfering. And this is why I like this Mercury thing, because Hermes is trustworthy. Okay, it's not just trickery, it knows all the tricks, but in essence it's trustworthy, and it's also a bit of a heads up for my speaker work. I was recently looking for my sage oil, and then I woke up and Helios was like, I'm going to do a speaker election in May 4th, which is 2 days before my birthday, so I might be exhausted. So I'm very happy there. It's always good to have a couple of people working at something, because if I didn't make it, even if I did make it, I probably want to order some. But that's just the joy of having a community that does that. So, yeah, the moon is in my 10th house and I'm blabbering. So we'll see. So we have, an abundance of chances. Do mind the square to Saturn. It exists, so tend to Saturn. Okay, ask for stuff that are also related with favoring Saturn or Saturn people. Saturn is in Pisces, so people in exile, people who are missing, people who are not being tended to, perhaps sick people, or people who are disempowered or something like that, or even feeling helpless or something like that. People who deal with drug addiction. Okay, maybe great to break through addictions. And all these things while this Mars, I'm saying this while this Mars, recording this while this Mars burn this incense. So yeah, and more has to do with also my house, so it's so amazing. definitely career placement for me. And I'm standing in the northern place. So yeah, very, very just, it's like things arrange themselves. Also, 10 to the Sphere and Sundry. So Sphere and Sundry still has, I think, Antares stuff that you can order. If you are working, if you already have them, I think would be a good time to pull them out. And I'm going to try and upload this video while they're still at it, so you get it online, and you can take advantage of this selection today to kind of work with Antares and use your own magic, the things that you've already ordered. Or maybe you want to order. If you do order today, there may be delay with your order. This is not because the business you order from is not okay. It's because we have a square to Saturn. So Saturn can be delays. And so Saturn will make sure you get things on time to do the things you wanted to do with them. And what you wanted to do is successful in a divinely guided way. So yes, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.